What's going on, guys? PSCam20 back in with a brand new video. We are here for an open lobby at Circuit de Barcelona, as this is a huge master plan that I contrived that I've been doing for the past 4 or 5 weeks here on Sundays. So you can see that we are at Circuit de Barcelona, but when we go to the rules and to the events, we're running Group 3 cars, but with 17 times tire wear and 8 times fuel consumption. So we got a Frankenstein type of rule package here at Barcelona, so it makes it for a really interesting race, as we do have the super softs, and medium tires available, but there are no requirements for the tires, so you can run any of those. You can run 2 stints of super soft, 2 stints of softs if they last that long, or you can try doing like a soft medium or just a medium the entire way if you can keep the car on the track and also not run out of fuel. So it's going to be a very interesting race here, as there's just a whole mess of different types of strategies. As the strategy that we're going to be implementing is running the super softs and then switching off to the softs, and then if we have to put in fuel, we'll put in fuel for our car here, as we are running the WRX. So we're gonna jump right into it right now. If you guys really enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video, as it really helps out the channel when you guys do so. Anyways, that's enough promoting myself. Let's jump straight into this lobby. Now, as we jump into the race, we are starting with a grid position starting line, so we're not going to be doing a rolling start, so it just makes it a little bit more interesting when we come to the first corner, as we're going to have to avoid cars that are getting off the grid slowly and just avoid making contact with cars all around us when we head into the first corner, as we are going to get jumbled up here as we are waiting for the start now. So getting our 3, 2, 1, we're waiting for the lights out, and away we go now as we switch our tires to 0 and we get our traction control set from 1 to 0. As you can see, a car did not get a good start. We go into the inside, we get a position, we get another position on our left hand side, as we are almost going 3 wide here going to the first corner. The Corvette's on the inside as we go into the first corner. Going on to the inside of the Mazda here, we brake as late as we can, but we're able to hold it together as everybody makes it through turn 1 and to turn 2 easily and without any incidents, as we are now heading to the long right-hander of turn number 3. Going to turn number 3, we're going side by side with 10th place here, as we're still right behind the Mazda, and I believe it's the Porsche right ahead of us, as we're heading to turn number 4 now. Going to turn number 4, the Volkswagen Beetle actually brakes very, very late. He gets really, really loose. He makes contact with us as we all get jumbled up there. And you can see no one spins out here as we go into the replay. You see the Volkswagen gets very, very loose. Luckily, he gets saved by the car in the green on the right hand side, and everyone is able to get through it cleanly, as we are still in this huge pack here, as we are starting on the super soft, so we have to get around as many cars as we can in order to take advantage of these super softs, as we don't want them to wear out and then after that have to get stalled out, not be able to make any positions, and also not only that, save some fuel here as we are jumping into this long straightaway leading us into turn number 11. So coming to the left hairpin, you can see that the cars ahead of us are just still fighting with each other. The Corvette goes very, very wide, and we're just staying right behind the Mazda right ahead of us, as the Corvette gets a little bit of contact with the green Viper. I believe that's the Viper that's ahead of him, and they're just going side by side now as the Mazda tries to take a look onto the inside, backs out of the move there as he thinks twice about it, as we're just staying right behind the Mazda now. He makes a little bit of contact with the Corvette, but we get hit from behind, and we actually get turned coming out of the hairpin as we go into the replay. You can see the Porsche tries to make a move onto the inside, just forces his way down there, does not stop, and continues spinning us out as we get turned all the way around, and we are now demoted all the way to 14th place. So it's gonna have to be a drive all the way back to the front, and let's see if we can do that now, as we are still on lap number 1, as we do have 9 laps left in this race, jumping into turn lap number 2 onto number 1. So as we head into the first sector now on lap number 2, you see the 2 cars ahead of us are starting to battle with each other, which slowed each other down, and we are able to get onto the inside, I believe, of the BMW on the left hand side, but we're able to get around him easily, and now we set our sights on 12th place here, as we do not want to lose the lead pack. As you can see, we're starting to gain a big gap from us to 11th place, so we got to get around this 12th place driver as fast as possible and try to abuse these super softs to try to catch up to the lead pack now, as we're heading to turn number 5. So as we jump into turn number 5, we try to take a look onto the inside as the car on the right hand side goes very, very wide. We almost make contact with him as we come out of the corner, but he gets a better run on the outside. As we are now heading into turn number 7 and turn number 8, we're staying right behind him as we go a little bit loose there coming out of turn number 8, but we're able to hold it together as we're coming to the fast corner in turn number 9. Heading into turn number 9, we're staying right behind the slipstream of 12th place cars. We head into turn number 10, and you can see that he actually outbrakes himself, but so do we, as he goes very, very loose, and we are able to get onto the inside and complete the overtake now, as we're going to shift right in front of him, able to do that there as we are heading now into the chicane. and staying right in front of him. He gets very loose coming out of that corner. As you can see on the radar, we are able to gain away from him, and we're just gonna do everything we can to just try to focus on hitting all our spots. As you can see, there's a car getting very loose out of that out of the chicane there, and it's the Mazda right there that we try to get onto the outside of now, as we're going side by side as we head down the straightaway, leading us into lap number 3. We're able to get around the Mazda as he's right behind us now, but he's getting back into our slipstream as this is a very long straightaway. So he's in our slipstream here, shifts into the inside, tries to make a move onto the inside as we head into turn number 1, go into turn number 2, as we still have better grip than him though, as we keep it onto the outside, keep it onto the inside here as we come out turn number 2, and we're able to hold him off and keep our 11th position, as we are now setting our sights on the 10th place driver ahead of us and try to get around him as we jump up a little further into the race. So jumping into lap number 4, we're getting closer and closer to the Corvette ahead of us, as we are now in his slipstream as we head into turn number 1. And the super softs are really starting to get worn out. As you can see on the bottom left, the tires are just wearing out really big time, as we are almost halfway through the tires lifespan. As we're gonna come into the pits this lap, shift off to the softs, and try to just gas up as much as we can, as we have been saving fuel throughout the race, as we are short shifting basically, coasting into the corners, and just using the slipstream as much as we can to stay with the lead pack, but not only that, save fuel because of that. So we catch up to the Corvette right here, but we also catch up to this little pack that he's fighting with, as there's a yellow flag right ahead of us. Coming out of turn number 5 now, you can see that the Corvette makes a little bit of contact with the Viper, and we're able to get into the inside of the Corvette. As you can see, the car that caused the yellow flag is now right ahead of us, going back onto the racetrack. Heading into turn number 7, into turn number 8, we're staying right behind the Viper as we get a little bit loose there, as we're just losing a whole mess of grip because of the super soft. Since the Corvette makes a little bit of contact with the Viper, pumps him forward there, and he's able to get around us on the outside, as we just got really jumbled up there, and we want to get out of this as soon as possible. So we're going to go into the softs, come into the pits, and change the tires, as we do not want to be stuck fighting with these guys. You can see they're still beating and banging right there as the Argentinian gets right ahead of the I don't know what car that was right ahead of him, but he was able to get around him now as we were shifting onto the outside of the Argentinian. Staying right on the outside of the Argentinian, we're able to get around him now as we're following the Corvette going to the hairpin, and we're going to try to stay right behind him and let nobody get onto the inside of us when we come into the pits, as we come out of the chicane here now and head ourselves straight into the pits. So we're not the only car that ended up going to the pits. You can see there's a couple cars actually ahead of us that are switching from the mediums to the softs, and we are going to shift our super softs to the softs as we are waiting for the pit to finish, put in our fuel, and we are out of there, as we are now coming out in 7th place. It looks like 8th place now, 9th place, as we get shipped down to 9th place, and we still have a lot of time to make up, as we have a couple cars ahead of us, and one of them luckily has a penalty, so that should help us out as we come out of turn number 2. So jumping out of turn number 2, heading to turn number 3, we're staying right behind these guys as we shift a little forward into the race. Jumping into turn number 10, we're able to get a really good run as we close the gap to 8th and 7th now. So we're just going to follow them here, save some fuel, as I believe 7th place has to still come into the pits, but 8th place was a car that came out of the pits with us, so we're just going to keep following both of them here as we head into the chicane. So jumping to chicane, you can see the cars ahead of us in 1st, 2nd, 3rd are starting to come into the pits now as they are switching off their tires. You can see the car ahead of us gets very loose coming out of the chicane, and we're able to make an easy overtake on him now as we're following the 7th place driver. And you can see the gaggle of cars that decided to take advantage and come into the pits, and we are actually just gaining positions now as we are passing all these guys in the pits, since we did save fuel. Saving that fuel actually pays off, as we are now promoted all the way to 4th place. So in a span of 2 laps, we went from 11th place to 4th place now, as we're staying right behind the 3rd place driver coming out of turn number 2 and just working with him to save more fuel and try to make it all the way to the end, since we did underfuel the car. So coming out of turn number 3, he goes a little bit wide as he's kind of giving us the invitation onto the inside, but he's able to defend his position as we come into turn number 4, and I decided to think twice, just stay right behind him. As you can see, 2nd is still right ahead of us, so if we can work along with 3rd place, and if he's not slowing us down, we can hopefully catch up to 2nd and try to overtake him to finish on the podium, and then see if we can try to push our car all the way to 1st place, as 1st place is still not that far away from us now as we come out turn number 12. So coming out turn number 12, heading to the hairpin, we get very wide. We actually clip the dirt there as we get very loose, and we actually lose a position because of that, as we're trying to get it onto the track, and that is very unfortunate as we go very wide on that corner, clip the dirt just ever so slightly, and you can see that it just upset our car enough to get us very loose, and we lose 1 position because of that. But not only that, we lost so much time to 3rd and 2nd place So it's going to have to be a push from here till the end of the race to try to catch up to third and get onto the podium, as second is now starting to run away. But you can see right ahead of us, the third place and fourth place car make a little bit of contact, and fourth place is out of there. As you can see, the Argentinian runs wide, but also there's a car behind him. And the car behind punts out the Argentinian as the Argentinian goes onto the track now. So very unfortunate for him, as we are now finding our way into fourth place and trying to catch up to third place, as we are now on lap number 8. So we only have 2 laps to try to close the gap and see if we can catch up to third place. But you can see that he's actually getting closer and closer to us. So we're just getting time to him. So we should be able to catch up to him hopefully by the end of the final lap. But already coming into turn number 10 on the same lap, we are almost on his back bumper here, as I think he's on the mediums. So if he's on the mediums here, we're on the soft, so we have a better grippier tire, and fortunately, hopefully the tire can hold up just one more lap and we can easily make an overtake on him, as we are now coming into the hairpin before the final lap. So coming out of the final corner, leading us into the final lap, we only have 1.3 laps of fuel left. So we have enough to push, but we can't push too hard, as if we do push hard enough, we can accidentally overuse the fuel that we have and run out before the line. So this is a really big teeter-totter, as we have to find the balance of pushing the car and also using these softs, but at the same time not pushing too much where we're spending enough fuel and accidentally running out before the line as we're coming to turn number 3. So jumping to turn number 3, we're just focusing on hitting our marks, keeping our lines, short shifting and staying right behind him on the slipstream. But we're coasting into turn number 4 now, as you can see how much time we're gaining on him on these corners. So my thought process is, okay, we're gaining a lot of time on the corner, we don't have to really push too much on the straightaway, but we also do get a little bit of a help because of the slipstream. So it's basically all favoring our way, as if he is on the mediums, it's just going to keep costing him there, as his tires are going to get more worn out, and we also have the faster tire compound. So we should be able to get closer to him and try to make a move, at least trying to maybe get into it on turn number 10. So coming at turn number 9 now, we get a really great run, as we are almost on his back bumper, almost made contact with him as we are following him on the slipstream. Coming down to turn number 10, we're just going to keep staying in the slipstream, as we're going to shift into the inside, try to send it, lick the stamp, go into the inside, as we're going side by side coming at turn number 10, and we're able to hold it together as he gets a better run on the outside, shuts the door on us now, as we are trying to get a move onto the outside and just looking each and every way to get around this third place driver and get podium. Shifting onto the inside before the chicane, he brakes later than us, but that actually cost him going into the second part of the chicane. As we shift onto the inside, going side by side, we almost make contact, and we get very loose as we run over the sausage curb, and that's going to cost us there, as we are not going to be able to get around third place and get this podium. As we come out of the final corner now, third place is able to hold off his position, and we finish this race in fourth place. Unfortunately, we were unable to get around him, as we just had the pace, but we just couldn't find the spot to make the overtake, as this was the replay that we were able to get when we were trying to make the overtake on the chicane right here. Jumping to the replay, you go into the outside, we try to make a move onto the inside, and we had the spot there, but we made a little bit of contact with him. Once we ran over that sausage curb, it was basically over from there, as we just lost the back end, and he was able to just coast away and get that easy third place away from us. So after the race, he told me that he was running the mediums, so we were right on that. So we were just pushing as much as we can on the softs, but unfortunately, again, we just couldn't find a spot to make the overtake, although we had multiple of opportunities, and who knows where we would have finished that if we wouldn't got spun out in the beginning of the race, or if we would have not spun ourselves out once we clipped that dirt. So going into this race, it's really fun. I highly recommend you guys try doing some of these races where you guys have really high tire wear and high fuel consumption. If not, you guys can always join me on Sundays on GT Sport, as I do have open lobbies, and if you guys want to see yourselves racing with me, you can also catch me on Twitch when we do these open lobbies on Sunday. So yeah, I hope you guys really found this video entertaining. If you guys did, again, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video, as it really helps that channel when you guys do so, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Peace out.